Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. The two are interchangeable. Well, welcome to the next installment of this Thursday Fry Up. Forgive me, slightly hoarse. I was just having a chat with a friend of mine before the show, and I must say, there's a lot of crisis out there, isn't it? A lot of people feeling stuff, health, heartbreak, dark night of the soul type energy. Obviously, there's positive stuff is going on as well, but let me know in the comments as well if you've been seeing this as a more kind of like pronounced theme at work in the world. So, I'm just sort of surprised at that pick. So as you know, this is a slightly different Thursday Fry Up. Normally, I would take questions and stuff like that, but I was talking with my friend for a little while. I didn't really have that much time to look, but this is very focused. So, what's the show going to be about? We're going to be looking at Donald Trump's chart. As you know, his dashes, his Dasha sequence, Mahadasha sequence, which of course, as you know, I talk a lot about in the book and have the diagrams for, etc., and all of that kind of stuff. If you're interested, the link, of course, is in the video below. Thank you as well to all the wonderful reviews, and so many of you have got the book. Keep it coming. It's really, really good. But in there, I talk about the dashes, and we're going to talk about that in a bit more detail and why it's important. Because the dasher sequence in a person's life shows the predominant energies at play. And I'm going to go into more detail when we look at Trump's chart, because he's got another change coming up in September. Now, you will remember I said, well, I mean, obviously, there are more people that subscribe to the channel now. But for those that don't know, once upon a time, back in November 2021, I said true accountability would start coming for Trump in October 2023. Now, it didn't go down so well. Let's put it that way. Most people accepted it, but some didn't. And they were like, no, he's going down now. This person says this person says that, blah, blah, blah. But as you know, I do Neo-Vedic astrology. And what did we see from October 2023? That's when the wheels really started to come off for Duck L'Orange. So that has already been vindicated and proven. Another change is about to come upon him in September. So I want us to look at that, because this change is obviously going to affect whether or not he can even stand as whether or not he's still going to be around. Yeah. So this is very important, because of course this can potentially change the fate and destiny of America. Yeah. So there's that. So we're going to be looking at Trump's dasher sequence. Then we're going to look at and his chart. Then we're going to look at the charts of the GOP/RNC. And we're going to be looking at the chart of the Democrats as well, and just assessing where they are, especially in terms of the transits of their charts for the dates in terms of their conventions. Now, look, I wrote this down just to make sure that I got it right. Here's my notes for the show. And those dates, so what I have is, and thank you for the email as well. Someone sent me an email asking me to kind of look at this. Your name has just escaped me, but I really appreciate your email. You know who you are because I've responded back. And also as well, on a slight digression, what I'm also going to do is, because I've had time to rest, get some exercise, as you can see, I've caught the sun a bit. I'm going to be going back over all of my old emails that I wasn't able to get to because I was too busy, all of this stuff. As you know, my life has changed as well, looking at my blood sugar, etc. And I'm starting to realize lockdowns and how all of that kind of worked and everything like that. So there'll be a little bit of a mea culpa on that particular one, just for people that wrote to me ages ago that maybe asked me a question about something, you know, not to do with clients, because obviously, you know, clients, you know, I get back to, but just in terms of like, there were emails, inquiries, or maybe someone wanted to collab or something like that, and I just didn't have time. I was just too busy. So I'll be doing that over the next few days. What we're also going to look at as well we have to talk now. Remember last week we spoke about King Charles's portrait? Yeah, that was one thing. Have you seen the portrait for Princess Catherine? Oh my God. We have to talk about that. But to finish up the show, of course, as you know, primarily politics and stuff on this channel. Our Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak in the UK, many of you may know this already, has announced a general election, a snap general election, which has come as a shock and a surprise to many people, for July 4th. I have my theories of why the timing is now, but I'm not going to be able to go into any kind of explicit detail of what I think that reason is why. I'm just going to have to maybe just drop some breadcrumbs, yeah? Because as I said it before, without you know that I know that you guys know what's going on. Yeah, so I will just leave it there. With the conventions, just to give everyone the dates. So this was sent to me by email, and then I also checked as well online. So the Republican convention is staged for July 15th to 18th at the Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yeah, that's what I have. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. The Democratic convention is said to be in August 19th to the 22nd at the United Center. I've forgotten to write the state down there, whichever state it was. I forget the state, forgive me. So that's going on. So just to reiterate, Trump's chart, GOP's chart, Democrats chart, and then some tarot. Yeah, a bit of tarot. In fact, I might do tarot for Trump and for Democrats and GOP. Then we're going to discuss the Kate portrait. Oh my God. And then we're going to look at the UK elections, and I'll pull a bit of tarot to see who may or may not, may not win that election. Sound good to you guys? All right. Now, many of you are piling in. Thank you so much. There's over 231 of you here live already. I see that the chat is going. Someone's written here. Oh, Carrie's already said I wasn't planning to click on that one. She looks dead. Yeah, it's really, really weird. Roxana Lee says Wisconsin. Yes, I think I did say that, didn't I? Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That's where the GOP one is. And then someone said politics is just the entertainment division of the military industrial complex. Yeah, you know what, Frank Zappa, what I'll also say as well, some may see it as uncharitable, but some people say politics is showbiz for ugly people. Yeah, bit unkind, perhaps, but maybe not. All right, let's see who else is in. Angela, hello. She's here. She's saying the Bard 2, perhaps. We can actually see what the Bard thinks of the GOP. Maybe that one. Linda J made it to a live. Thank you so much for joining me. Oh, what's this here? Val bouncing ICC arrest warrants to Netanyahu have some jumping as Rishi could be implicated in war crimes. Just my theory. Oh, pardon. Someone says here, modern art for you. Carrie's written, just Googled it. Oh my God. Yes, it is an oh my God. Just you wait for just wait. You'll see. I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to give you my thoughts from an artist's perspective because I am an artist. Right. Let's get stuck in because I want to cover a lot of ground. I'm going to still try and keep it in for the hour. Drink my little bit of water. This is actually my tap water that's actually in here because of that tap filter I've got, which is so good. It's called Water 2. Not a plug. I don't get any money or anything like that from them. UK-based design or manufactured in Italy. I don't know if they ship to America, but it is superb. I'll try and put, if I remember, to put a link after the show to that place, but it's Water 2, the digit, and look up water filter, whatever. It is superb. You just attach it to the water pipe thing, and it lasts for a year, and you get wonderful water. It's fabulous. It really filters out hormones, microplastics, the whole shebang. It literally tastes like bottled water from a glass, spring bottled water from a glass. Anyway, right. Duck L'Orange, yeah? And then let's just get Whippity Doody in. And then I can do a little ad-libs and stuff on the side. Thank you so much for joining me. And of course, please don't forget as well to like and subscribe and press the bell notification. So you know when you get the videos up. Please don't forget to share as well. And if you'd like to support the channel and you might be low on funds or whatever, please watch an ad, but just count to 11. Yeah, count to 11. What am I going to be showing you? Entire screen. We'll do that. We'll click on that. So nice to see you. I do love a Thursday fry-up, as you know, and so do you guys as well. You know, sometimes it gets a little bit more controversial. It does a bit, doesn't it? But you know, such is life. All right, so let's go here. I'm going to share. All right, so here, this is for the Democratic Party because this is the last one that I opened. So we'll be looking at that. Let me just move this chart a little bit. There we go. So it was a little bit too, here we go. Let's move this down here like so, just so you get a little bit more mileage out of this. And I'm still just looking at myself so I can see what I'm doing. And let's move this out here like this. And let's go file here. And we're going to look at Duck L'Orange, yeah, politics, Donald Trump. Now, you guys, because you've been watching me for a while, you know Donald Trump's chart. Yeah, I've been rummaging around for ages. But just in case you are new and you're new to my channel, welcome. Yeah, irrespective of how you vote, really, honestly, like in this day and age, politics, my gosh. Anyway. So according to Vedic astrology, Donald Trump is a Leo rising, 6 degrees 51 minutes, and he has Mars in the first house at 3 degrees 40 minutes. Both are conjunct the star Regulus. Very, very important star. And this is definitely a star I'm going to be talking about a lot on my retreat in Santa Fe, because many of my clients and that come to me have either their ascendant or a planet conjunct this star, or something also conjunct the star Famalat, which sits in Aquarius exactly or almost exactly opposite. Yeah. And these make up like the royal stars. So you've got Marga, which is the star of summer, Famalat, which is the star of winter. Aldebaran lives over here around about 16 degrees, which is the star of spring, and Antares lives over here around about 16 degrees, which is the star of fall. Yeah, so you have 4 royal Persian stars. Now, what does this mean? Regulus means to fight for one's throne, so it's about battling. Yeah, it's about battling, it's about fighting. Yeah, and Mars is also about war and battling and fighting, and that is basically what he does, isn't it? You know, gives a lot of energy and all this stuff, but even he is probably running out of puff by now, I would imagine. So there's that. Now, the important thing to discuss here about this is really where Vedic astrology really comes into its own. We need to talk about Trump's dashers. So this is when we come down here. Yeah, this is when we come down here. Now you can see where it says J-U-J-U, J-U-S-A, J-U-M-E, J-U-K-E, J-U-V-E. Yeah. So what it means is, now again, those of you who have the book, you know this because you've got the diagrams to show you, but it's like this. Your soul is in the back seat of a certain planet's car. To broaden out the analogy, Donald Trump is in the backseat of the car of Jupiter. Yeah. And this journey began. He went into Jupiter. So when the sequence begins, it's always the planet driving its own car. The person stays in the back seat, and then the driver changes over time till you go through the whole duration. So the whole Jupiter dasher lasts for 16 years. Yeah, 16 years. So if we look here, J-U-J-U, so he began his Jupiter dasher on the 14th of November, 2016. Yeah, 14th of November 2016, where we all know what was happening around that time. Yeah, so he was just coming into this energy, and Jupiter is known as a fortunate and a lucky planet. Yeah, so he got lucky. That's basically what happened. I think we can pretty much agree. You remember the look on his face when he was actually told that he was president? I remember all the color went out of his face, which is a bit of a challenge because most of the time it's powdered up with orange. But anyway, energy, energy, energy. Yeah, energy. This is how these things work. Whoever is the president of a nation, be they male or female, they influence the chart of that nation. At the moment, Joe Biden is president. Yeah, so his chart is having the dominant effect. But because Duck Larange is still in the mix and all of that kind of stuff, and because of his personality and the wall-to-wall media coverage, as that none of us can escape, he's still affecting things as well. Now, why is this important? So in 2016, he started the Jupiter Dasher sequence, and it will end when he starts his Saturn Dasher, which will be on the 14th of November, 2032. Do we really need to go that far ahead? No, of course not. Will Duck Larange still be around by then? Who knows? Yeah. But the important thing to understand is this. Now, do you remember when I made that prediction? I said the wheels will start coming off for Duck Larange. Accountability will begin in October 2023. Why did I say that? If we look down here, we see it says here, Jupiter, Ju, Jupiter, KE, K2. K2 is the south node of the moon, which I, famously call what? Snip, snip. K2 can deal with losses of all kinds. Not all losses are bad, but he's the moksha karka, which means liberation from this world. What K2 does is he often separates us from some kind of material possession, some kind of ideology or idea that may be potentially holding back our spiritual growth. One of the things that can hold back our spiritual growth is excess materialism. Yeah. Which Duck Larange does suffer from, which we can see up here with the Sun, Rahu, and Uranus in sidereal Taurus. Taurus has many virtues, but it is a very materialistic sign. It's the feminine expression of Venus in its earth sign, so it means tangible results, luxuries, food, art, sensuality, all of this kind of stuff, which can be wonderful things. But when Rahu is here, a person can become a little bit greedy for those things because Rahu is the north node of the moon, who I call gobble gobble. Yeah, always wants more. K2 snip snip, cuts away. If we look here in Donald Trump's chart, you see here is the moon debilitated in the sign of Scorpio. The exact debilitation point of the moon is 3 degrees of Scorpio. So it's well beyond that. But look, it's with K2 almost exactly conjunct. The moon is at 28 degrees and 5 minutes. K2 is at 27 degrees and 41 minutes. So he was born on a lunar eclipse. Yeah. Because when the sun and the moon are opposite each other, that's a lunar eclipse. When they're together, that's a solar eclipse. Yeah. Because the moon shadow or the moon's body is going in front of the sun and causing that corona. Yeah. On a full moon, which is always whenever a lunar eclipse is, you can see the moon is opposite the sun, and it's like the shadow of the earth is what eclipses the moon. So if we take this number 1 as being planet Earth, the earth shadow is what causes the eclipse. So he was born on a lunar eclipse. He also has a Kala Sarpa yoga, which it means a time serpent yoga, which means all of the planets are on one side of the nodes of the moon. It means a very unusual, strange, and fated life. Weird. Yeah. I've seen this time and time again. All of my clients who have Kala Sarpa yoga, they have extraordinary, strange, and unusual lives with lots of ups and downs. Yeah. So there's that. If we look here, where it says Jupiter K2, yeah, this is when the snip energy started to come in. And do you remember what I said? I said K2 will separate Trump from his finances. That's what I said. Yeah, it's cause losses of all kinds. He went into his K2 on the 22nd of October 2023. That's why I made that prediction back then. Even though it seemed outrageous at the time and people didn't want to hear it, look what has transpired since. So we know this to be accurate. In October, now what you've got to remember is the energy starts a bit before. I would say it tends to start about 3 months before the dasher is due to change. The energy starts to come in, especially in the month before it's due to change. Depends on the size of the planet. What I found is the gas giants like Jupiter and Saturn, you can actually start beginning to feel their car coming along. I would say even 6 months out, because they've got that much gravitas. But with the smaller entities, or like the nodes of the moon, definitely a month, 3 months out, the energy starts definitely a month out. So we can see here from October 2023, that's when the wheels started to come off, didn't they? Remember Sidney Powell and blah, 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 then the RICO case and everything, all of this kind of stuff. Then there was a huge fine totaling almost what, $500 million, yeah, which he just managed to squeak through because of a little, you know, like I said, courts being generous, shall we say. I don't want to be too slanderous on here, again, for entertainment purposes only. Yeah. If he had to pay that $500 million, it would have been complete financial ruin. But he was able to get away with paying what, 170 blah 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 million and loose change, which is still a gargantuan amount of money, isn't it? For the average person, still a huge amount of money. And then, of course, he had to pay the fines as well from the defamation of E. Jean Carroll, which I think, what is that Russian company helped him out, wasn't it? Charbel, something like that. Basically settled that bill. I think that was a little, some of his international friends, helped out a little bit there. So there's been these huge losses, and he's been generating funds, obviously mainly from small donations, but they're starting to say those are starting to dry up a little bit as well. So K2 is still continuing. Yeah. Now, what's important here? So you'll see here, JUKE started, like I said, 22nd of the 10th, 2023. But he then goes into JUVE, which means Jupiter Venus. That starts officially on the 27th of September 2024. This year, of course. Now, remember what I said. It doesn't start exactly on that date. The Venusian energy is going to come in about a month before. So this is going to happen. These energies, these shifts you're going to see probably around the back end of August. Yeah. But it will be official when it's on the 27th. Yeah. So what does this mean? When I'm looking at clients' charts and when I'm looking to see what happens in their lives, I look to see where the dasher planet is. So we need to look at Jupiter, where it sits, and the houses it is lord over. I'll explain that in a second. We also need to look at where Venus sits, because Venus will be driving the car. And whoever is driving the car will indicate what happens to the car, what happens to the life. So we need to look at where Venus sits in the chart, but also the houses of which she is the Lord. And we look at those factors together, or I look at those factors together in terms of making predictions about people's lives or why things happened as they did. For many of you that may have seen my video that I did with Trish Kane yesterday, who had a near-death experience which changed her life and brought out her healing qualities, and she's created, this whole platform called Healiverse. I was able to demonstrate, I was able to show her what were the factors that caused her near-death experience, why she overcame it, and why this was a big transformative element in the life. And she completely concurred. And there was even more that came out that I wasn't aware about as well, in terms of her marriage, etc., and all of this stuff. When we actually looked at the dates, things pretty much ran almost exactly to the dates. So the energy for Duc Larange will change. This will happen. Yeah, this will happen. I was right about the other stuff, so why would I be wrong about this? No one's perfect, of course. I'm not saying that. I don't want to give that impression. What I would say is just look back at my videos. I don't need to say this to many of you because many of you have. But for those who may be new, please take a look at the old material. Please take a look at the predictions that I've made that have come true and how accurate they've been. Yeah. Anyway, so the Jupiter Venus 27th. There we 27th of September 2024. Remember, I do it the British way, the rest of the way the rest of the world does it. Okay, so it's the date first, month, then year. All right. So where is Jupiter? So Jupiter is in the second house in Dr. Larange's chart. So here we are where the two lines are. That's always the first house. He's a Leo ascendant, which means the second house and the 11th house are ruled by Mercury, planet Mercury. This is one of the reasons why, like, Mercury is often a very wealth producing planet for Leo ascendants. Why? Because it naturally rules the 11th house, which deals with great gains, and the second house, which deals with savings and money. Whenever you have a connection between those two houses, it's called a Raja Yoga. Yeah, there are other combinations, but this is a famous money yoga. So Mercury as a planet is very good for finances and stuff if you are genuine Leo ascendant. He has his Mercury that sits in its own sign of Gemini. And it's in the nakshatra called Ardra, and Ardra has a deity called Rudra, which is the god of storms. Yeah, comes in and tears everything up. This is part of the reason why Dr. Larange cannot shut up. You've heard me say before, I said he couldn't shut up to save his life. I mean, how on earth he is being able to keep himself relatively quiet in court, without, blowing a gasket is quite incredible. It's very difficult for him to keep his opinions to himself. Yeah, Mercury is the planet of communication. It's in sidereal Gemini, its own sign, and it's in Ardra, which is a very dramatic nakshatra, very bombastic. It's a very bombastic. It creates dynamic communication. Yeah. And look how the media just lap up every word that he says, isn't it? And they just do. They just do. I'd rather they didn't. I said I think he should be. I think he should be ignored. But all the hoopla and the hootenanny and all of that kind of stuff. It's just too much. Anyway, but that's the circus that has now obviously come into politics. But it's also very good for entertainers as well. Let's not forget, he is an entertainer. It's very good for social media, speech in general, charisma, all of this stuff. Do you know what I mean? People are looking, the media are focused on him for a reason, yeah, because people watch, yeah? Let's not forget that. Anyway, not that I'm trying to give compliments or whatever. This is just observable reality of what has happened over the years, yeah, and why there's this media fixation on him. Anyway, the important thing to look at is Jupiter. Jupiter, like I said, sits in the second house. It's in the sign of Virgo, which is considered an enemy sign for Jupiter. There are friendships between the planets. Jupiter and Mercury are not considered friends. Yeah, Mercury kind of gets along with most planets, but not everyone likes Mercury. So here is Jupiter, and Jupiter in all Leo's charts, if we count round to Sagittarius and Pisces, because Jupiter is the old ruler of these signs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Jupiter always rules the 5th house of creativity and children and ideas and business and stuff like that as well for all Leo ascendants. This is often why Leos as well are very good or can be successful in business. I mean, obviously with the Neptune here, I'll explain that's the bankruptcies, but I'll talk about that in a minute. And then it also rules the 8th house for all Leo ascendants. So for Leo ascendants, Jupiter can be quite a tricky planet because it is the lord of the 8th house. Whatever planets a house is, whatever houses a planet is lord of, it will take the energy of those houses into the place where it is. So in Dr. Larange's chart, we can see here Jupiter is in the 2nd house, and it's bringing in the energy of the 5th house and the 8th house. Now remember, the 5th house is what? Children. The 2nd house deals with family, values, money, tangible assets, etc. All of this stuff. Trump organization, it was what? Mainly run by the children. You can literally see it here, the energy of the 5th being pulled into the 2nd house of family. But also the energy of the 8th house is also here as well. And the 8th house deals with sudden transformations, ups and downs, the unexpected. Yeah. I knew before Saturn transited my 8th house that when he transited my 8th house, I was probably going to have to deal with some kind of health issue. Yeah, because I'm Cancer rising, as you guys know, sidereally. So if we look here where it says TR, slight digression here, but this is a worthwhile point. TR, this is transits. This is where the planets are right now, according to sidereal astrology. This is accurate. We shoot the rocket in the right direction, we would hit the planet. Yeah. You'll see here is Saturn sitting at 24 degrees and 7 minutes of sidereal Aquarius. This is before he goes retrograde in the summer, in July. Yeah, he's going to go retrograde until November, something like that. I can't remember the exact dates off my head, but July till November, pretty much. Now, if you look here, so where is Aquarius for a Cancer ascendant, which is what I have, yeah? So here's Cancer ascendant here. So we count around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've got Saturn going through my 8th house right now, and so does every other Cancerian on planet Earth. The Cancerians in particular are dealing with health issues right now. Yeah, not every single one, but it's a theme. I'm having to deal with my blood sugar, yeah, because of just everything that's happened. I'm not going to go into, you know, a personal health and all that kind of stuff, but it's been an issue since Saturn started transiting that house. Princess Catherine is also a Cancer ascendant like me. So it means she's got Saturn going through her 8th house as well, yeah? Do I need to say more? Yeah, this is powerful stuff, yeah? Astrology is an art, but it's also a science. And I like to treat it as a science, as you guys know, as well as an art. More on Catherine later. Anyway, back to Dr. Larange. So he has the Lord of the 5th house and the Lord of the 5th house, creativity, children, etc., things we do for the love of it, passion, etc., and the Lord of the 8th house, sex, death, and rock and roll, transformation in the 2nd house. Now, the 2nd house and the 7th house in Vedic astrology are known as marker houses. Marker, yeah, but it's actually spelled marker. So it's M-A-R-K-A-R-A, yeah, marker, but what they say marker house, yeah, and it does mean death inflicting, yeah. If you guys, anyone who watched the Trish Kane video yesterday, when we were talking about her near-death experience, we could see how there was the confluence of the 7th house and the 2nd house together brought by Mercury, which helped bring that about. Now, look, if you've got planets in the 2nd house, it doesn't mean you're going to drop dead or anything like that. No, not necessarily, but there are certain combinations where it can be more challenging. So the 7th house is a marker house, and so is the 2nd. Why is the 7th house a marker house? The 7th house is anyone that's not us. It deals with our business, imports and exports, but it deals with relationships, marriage. Statistically, if something nefarious happens to you, it's far more likely to either be your partner or someone you know. It's very rare, actually, statistically, it's actually very rare to be attacked or suffer death at the hands of someone that you don't know. I know this sounds a bit dark and whatever, but I have to go there. Yeah, I have to go there because these energies are building. Yeah. So he's in Jupiter Dasha. So it means the 5th house and the 8th house are active in his chart, and Jupiter goes to the 2nd house. But look, there's more. Neptune is here. Now, Neptune is known as the great dissolver. Yeah. Neptune dissolves the boundaries between the three-dimensional world and the realms beyond. Yeah, it's higher octave of Venus, deals with opulent wealth, can deal with opulent wealth, film scores, movies, all of this stuff. The unreal appearing real. Can also deal with gaslighting, drink, drugs, delusions. Yeah, illusions and delusions. The second house also deals with speech. Yeah, so Jupiter can expand things, and then Neptune can maybe add a little bit of you know what on the top. But if we look here, he's also got Chiron here as well. And Chiron is the wounded healer. And wherever Chiron is in the D1, it shows where we've received a wound in life. Could be mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, or financial. Sometimes all of those. Wherever Chiron goes in the D9 shows where we either are healing, have healed, or healing others, or being healed by others. The D1 will show the wound. Let's not forget, Duck Larange is a very wounded person. I'm not saying we all have to, be all kumbaya, whatever, but he is. If we look here, particularly as well with the mother, yeah, remember the moon is the mother with K2, tough combination. Often can sometimes mean that the mother has a psychotic break of some kind, or is strange or unusual, or there's some kind of separation, snip, from the mother. He was separated from the mother. And after, sadly, when she had a miscarriage in front of him, yeah, and his father chastised her because the father is, was a sociopath, for entertainment purposes only. But anyway, and he chastised Donald, who was crying, seeing his mother in pain and stuff. There was a separation there. And they say that caused a lot of bonding issues, according to Mary Trump, the niece, yeah, who is a psychologist. So I think we can trust her opinion on this. So if we look here, there is this wound, yeah, wound in the family, particularly things to do around deceptions, lies, or deceit, or potentially drink, drugs, or illusions, or delusions, or lies, yeah, scandals. Neptune can deal with that. So if we look here as well, but this is also dealing with finance and money, and Neptune is what? The great dissolver. What can happen is this: Neptune can give opulent wealth. But if the person is lacking in some way in spirituality, Neptune can also dissolve a fortune as well. And of course, Duck Larange has been bankrupt, 6 times? At least that we know of. I always say that he's had more bankruptcies than children. There it is. Yeah, there it is. But at the same time, it's also blessed him with a tremendous amount of wealth as well. He's still got way more money than the average person, not nearly as much as I think he would like have us to believe. Yeah, remember, Neptune is about the illusion. Yeah, can cast a spell. I've always said, I've always believed him to be a millionaire, not a billionaire. And many people have backed that up since. But you can literally see the energy there and the wounding there, not only in the family, but also as well due to loss of money, finances, and all that stuff. Because Jupiter here is the 8th lord, but is in the 2nd house as the 8th lord, which adds a bit of frisson to things. Yeah. But also can deal with other people's money, can make people good with other people's money. He does the fundraising, doesn't he? Other people's money. Give me money. I'm a billionaire, but give me more. Doesn't really quite add up, does it? But anyway, but I don't want to mock too much because, there are people that want to vote for him, and I have to respect their free will as well. It's a planet of free will. Free will. Anyway. So there's that. Let's look at Venus. Where's Venus sitting? Venus is sitting in the 12th house. But she is the lord of the 3rd house and the 10th. Yeah, the 3rd house via Libra. And the 3rd house deals with skills of all kinds. Speech and communication as well. 2nd house is speech, but so is the 3rd house. But the 3rd house is more to do with like social media, speaking to lots of people, our general communication with others. Also deals with skills as well. Skills, travel, learning new things, desires. The 3rd house is known as a Kama house, K-A-M-A. Kama, not karma. Kama, which means desire. Yeah. So the 3rd house has a lot of desire to it. This is also why as well Leos often crave luxury, yeah, and stuff like that, because Venus is the rule of the third house, which deals a lot with desire, but also of the career. Yeah, the 10th house via Taurus. So it can bring out that element there. So if we look here, the third house is dealing with skills, social media, communication, literally the hands as well. And then Venus is also dealing with the 10th house, which is what our highest social standing, dharma, etc. Often can denote the career, but it's not the only house that shows the career. Here you've got the sun here, very strong in the 10th house, although slightly in detriment by being in Taurus. Can show the father's morals may be a little bit corrupted. Not for all. Some people get a nice dad, but this is Fred Trump talking about here, yeah? The Rahu makes it much more extreme, and the Uranus makes that unpredictable. So it means a very volatile and unpredictable father that he had. Intelligent, but unpredictable, volatile. It also shows as well someone who has a very, very strange and unusual career. Rahu deals with the exotic and the strange, and Uranus deals with sudden shocks and surprises. The oddball, the maverick, the strange one. Yeah. Remember the 2016 election. Remember, everyone thought Hillary was going to win. It was a complete shock to people when Duck Larange won. I predicted it, but no one knew who the hell I was back then. And this was back in early 2016. I said Trump's going to win, and I said Britain's going to vote to leave. People looked at me like I was an absolute a-hole. The dirty looks I got at the time, people thought I was crazy. They don't think I'm crazy now. Funny that, yeah? So that shows that strange and unusual dynamic. So where is Venus sitting? So Venus, the lord of the career and the lord of communication and skills, etc., sits in the 12th house. So it means when he goes into his Jupiter-Venus, the 5th house, 2nd house, 8th house, 10th house, 3rd house, and 12th house will all become active in his charts and the planets contained therein. What's the 12th house? The 12th house, as you've heard me refer to, is the land of far, far away. Yeah, it means the land of far, far away. So, but it also deals with hospitals and prisons, endings and beginnings, beginnings and endings. Yeah, so we can see this is very, very significant. If we look here as well, Pluto is here, who is god of the underworld, and Saturn is here, which can deal with what? Karma, harshness, difficulties. And for all Leo ascendants as well, let's not forget, yeah, it means Saturn rules the 6th house of battles, enemies, and the 7th house of open enemies, marriage, etc., and stuff like that. But let's not forget, the 7th house is also what? A marker house. So he has the lord of the 7th in the 12th, in the house of endings. Yeah, do you see why I'm not going to say it explicitly, but I'm just saying, let's join the dots here and think about what that means. He has got the lord of the 8th in the 2nd house, which is a marker house, and he's in that dasha. And he's got Venus in the 12th house, do you know, in the career and the communication, but it's sitting with the 7th lord in the house of endings, and it's there with Pluto, who is god of the underworld. All of this energy is going to start. Now, Venus in a man's chart, it also denotes the wife, by the way, the wife. So like I said, I think, Melania's had her Louis Vuitton's packed for a very long time. So it could mean that, but it also can represent daughters as well. Venus also represents daughters. So this might be a time when Ivanka maybe goes abroad, something like that. Or the wife goes. There might be an ending and again, I don't want to be too explicit, but I think it's more likely, at the end of the day, Melania is still young. I think it's more likely to be maybe perhaps a separation, or maybe she goes her separate ways when things start to hit the fan. We'll have to see. Yeah. But for me, when I look at these combinations, it is quite ominous. And I would say I think he's in a bit of danger. It could be a health crisis. Yeah, all that pressure. Doesn't matter how strong you are, you know, that's a lot of pressure. Yeah, fighting all these cases and stuff while you're trying to keep yourself out of jail and get re-election. You know, yeah, not that easy. Yeah. But it could mean maybe Ivanka moves on, or maybe something develops in her life, or she might move countries. That's what I would see. Or maybe there might be something to do with monies or debts or foreign money. Yeah, that it's the 12th house also deals with all things abroad. Yeah, this is also as well why Duck L'Orange has got all these connections with things abroad. Saturn also deals with governments. Yeah, Pluto can deal with corruption, dark underbelly stuff. So when you look at that, that's quite a lot that is going on there. However, though, Venus is the 10th house lord and the 3rd house lord. We'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see what happens if he's going to get blessings from this Venus or not. Jupiter will be going through his 10th house, which I will have to say will give him a bit of a boost, yeah, around that time. If we look here, yeah, here we are. Look, you see, look, here's Jupiter at 5 degrees, 19 minutes. Jupiter spends about a year in each sign. So you can see Jupiter is in his 10th house. Venus is currently there right now, and so is the sun. Yeah. So remember, you know, his Jupiter dasher did give him some luck. So he might have a little bit of a reprieve. But I think this is more to do with the judiciary. Yeah, because Saturn and Jupiter also represent the law. But Venus also represents lawyers and judges, but Jupiter is literally like the law, the ideology of the land, the lay of the land in terms of the law. What is it that we've seen? Again, this isn't conjecture, is it? What have we seen? What have we observed? What have those justices been doing? Who was it that brought down from the 500 million to the more hundreds of millions? Yeah. So I'm just describing energy here, energy, and try not to take, you won't take it personally anyway, but some do, and it's not personal, it's energy. Yeah. And I'm just doing my best to illuminate what I can and what might be the likely things that will be coming out. So my overall interpretation for this is that overall, I think he's in quite a bit of danger. I think it's fair to say that danger, I think, is astrological danger, because you don't really want the Lord of the 8th house and the Lord of the 7th house, marker houses, and the Lord of the 8th being in the 2nd house, which is a marker house, all being activated at the same time. So when you get things, a confluence of things at the same time, and when you look at that Venus is with Pluto and it's with Saturn, ooh, yeah. And the fact that Saturn, which is the 7th Lord, is also in the 7th house right now by transit. So the Lord of the 7th is in the 7th. And the 7th is a marker house. However, they do say that a rogue always smiles on his own house. So, you know, we'll have to see. But when I look at that, when I combine it with the situations, the pressures, you know, this could be something to do with health. My advice to him would be like, get out of town. Yeah. If you know, if I was giving an advice, I'd say, look, your health, big issues here. Get out of town. Not good. Yeah. So you can see that energy, and look as well, remember as well that Jupiter is also with that Chiron, and that Jupiter is with Neptune, which dissolves things via wounds. Yeah. Dissolution via wounds. So tricky. Yeah, tricky. Let's see. Anyway, let's move on to the next chart. I hope you guys are finding this interesting. Let me just do a minimize and see what you're saying in the chat. Let me just scroll down. What are you guys saying here? Oh, what was that? Someone said, oh, what did they? Oh, I missed it. You know, when you scroll and then it zips up. Oh, look. Someone says here, hi, Hogarth. This is Oyster Diva. Great name. I received your book and I'm loving it. Thanks for putting the type in larger size. Thanks. Yes, it is in larger size. It is. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And I appreciate everyone who's bought the book and who's also left reviews as well, which have been stunning. So thank you so much. Link is in the description below. Thank you, Oyster Diva. What's this here? Oh my God. Oh God. You know what? This is going to be a longer show, guys. I wasn't planning to spend that long, but as you know, I get in the details. Princess Kate looks like an Asian older bride. Oh. You wait till you see the pictures. All right, let's quickly talk about, God, has the time gone that quickly? I did start at just past 11, didn't I? Oh my goodness. All right. Anyway, let's talk a little bit. Let's look a little bit at the charts of the GOP, yeah, and the Democrats. And then we need to talk about Kate's portrait, and then we need to talk about the UK election. So this video is going to go on a little bit longer, folks. I hope you don't mind, but you can imagine going into this level of granular detail, it does take time, and particularly for people that may be new to the show. And of course, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the bell notification if you'd like to, if you've found this interesting and you'd like to support the channel. And if you can't donate, that's fine. Just watch an ad. Remember, count to 11. So there's that. Now, so I've said my piece on that. That's the energies that I feel will come in. Let's see what happens. We don't have long to wait, really, do we? September will be here in a flash. Okay, let's now look at the GOP. Let's see what's going on with them. I'm going to try and keep this really quick, so I've got time to look at the Democrats, and then we've got to look at Kate, and then the UK election. So this is actually quite a lot of ground to cover here. Okay, so here is the GOP founding charts, which I have as the 20th of March, 1854, and I've put here 12 noon. Why did I put 12 noon? Because that's when most parties, gatherings, etc., especially in the old days, started at noon. Very often courthouses start at noon and stuff like that. So charts of nations and all that tend to be either midday or midnight. Anyway. And actually, I've read on this chart before, way back, but it worked very well. So if we look here, the GOP or RNC or whatever they're calling themselves, it has a Gemini ascendant, Gemini rising, which means what? Duck Larange's Mercury is right in the first house of what? Of the GOP. Yeah. This is why he has such influence over them, because the first house represents what? The body, the personality. So already we can see a correlation here with Duck Larange and the GOP. If you look here as well, the GOP also has a debilitated moon in the same nakshatra, Jyeshta. Now remember, Trump's moon is at 28 degrees and loose change. Here, the GOP's moon is at 24 degrees and 49 minutes, basically 25 degrees. Which means there's a very close conjunction. And they also have it with Ketu. Yeah? Which means Rahu is the Rahu in fact, let's do here. Oh my God, I wasn't expecting a digression, guys. This is going to be a longer show, right? Let's do a comparison screen. Let's do, what's it called? Compatibility. Here we go. And I'm going to compare the GOP chart with Duck Larange's chart. I wasn't planning to do this in this explicit way, but since I'm here, why not? Yeah, let's look at this. Now, what we're looking for, whenever you get planets on top of each other, when you're comparing people's charts, can show past life, stickiness, compatibility, etc. So let's look here. So politics, here we are, Donald Trump. Let's do open. Now, what you will see here, the GOP is in blue. Donald Trump is in green. I hope you're finding this interesting. So we're looking for close confluences where planets touch. So if you look here with the GOP being in blue and Duck Larange's planets being in green, if we see here, look at the moons. Do you see how close they are? Moon and Ketu combination. The moon represents the mind, the emotion. This is part of the reason why he's been able to enrapture the GOP, because it's like telepathy, yeah, between the two. Here it is. You can see it here. There's the evidence. If we look here as well, if you look at the GOP's chart, which has got Saturn and Rahu together, which is quite a malefic combination, by the way, do you see how that combines with the Sun, Rahu, Uranus of Dr. Larange's chart. So what this tells me immediately, unequivocally, beyond doubt, this is a past life connection. That's what it means. K2 deals with past lives. Saturn deals with karmas. And whenever you see a relationship between Saturn and the nodes of the moon or other planets close to the nodes, but particularly Saturn, it means past karmas. Yeah, past karmas. So we can see it here. We look here, like I said, the first house of the GOP. Look, it's got Dr. Larange's Mercury is right there in the same house, but look how close. Actually, his 12th house, Saturn and Venus, are actually much closer. So this shows that not only is he present in the first house, but the energy of his 12th house, which deals with secrets, yeah, classified documents, intrigues, is also very close to the rising sign of the GOP. Isn't that fascinating? And then if you look here, look at this as well. This is LG means Lagna, rising sign in Vedic astrology. So you can see here's Trump's, yeah, Mars very close to the right to the Lagna. But look at that. It's also right on top of the GOP's Mars as well. Wow. So we see here major connections there, and voila, he is the leader of the GOP in heart, mind, body, and soul, it seems. All right, so let's go back to the main screen. So if we look here, let's go do mains. Oh, I'm on. There we go. So back to the GOP. Now let's take a look at here. We're going to do the transits, and I'm going to do for the dates, see where the planets are on July 15th. Yeah, July 15th. So here we are. Let's put here. You guys are finding this interesting. July 15th. There we are. Remember, I do it the British way. Let's calculate. Right, so let's see. Now, as I said in July, I said Saturn will be going retrograde, didn't I? So you can see here he is retrograde at 25 degrees. I think he goes, I can't remember when in July, but it's July. So if we look here, of course, is the chart of the GOP, and let's see where the planets are. Now, you'll notice here is Neptune, Chiron, and Rahu in the 10th house of the GOP. Now, remember, Neptune deals with illusions and delusions, can also deal with lies, can also deal with spirituality and religion and stuff like that as well, which you could also say may apply to the GOP. But, you know, we've read on politics, and we know what is most likely the energy to be brought out by this Neptune. Now, Rahu also deals with lies and deceit as well. Remember, deals with the extremes. And here is Chiron, which is what? The wounds, the wounded healer. But this is happening in the 10th house of the GOP, which is its public standing, its name and fame. This is a difficult combination. What this tells me is that there could be a lot of lies and deception in terms of the professional output of this party. It's not biased. I'm just, look, you can see it. Yeah, there it is. 15th of July, when the convention starts in the 10th house, which deals with name and fame. Neptune is there, and Chiron and Rahu there. So this is, I mean, it's not going to be kumbaya. I doubt it's going to be the spirituality part, is it? Of Neptune, the higher octave. Is it really going to be the higher octave that the GOP are going to express as its purpose, knowing what we know already? My answer is probably not. Yeah. It's also a difficult combination. It means there's lots of illusions and delusions. There could be things with a big lie. This could also as well talk about losses as well. Neptune also deals with losses. Rahu makes things more extreme. Chiron is wounds. Yeah, so they might be quite wounded in some kind of way by the time, you know, when it's coming to the convention and stuff like that. I mean, one could maybe argue they're wounded already, or will they be able to maybe pull off some incredible illusion? Yeah, that's what also Neptune deals with as well. you know, Neptune is a fascinating planet, and you've seen whenever I've tried to talk about him, sometimes he's kibosh the videos. Neptune, out of all the planets that I communicate with, as you know, they're like family for me, he's the only one that downplays his power. Remember that. Yeah, so that's quite significant. What else is also pertinent here? If we look here, Jupiter, Mars, and Uranus are all going to be together in the 12th house, which again deals with losses, the land of far, far away. And it's here with Saturn and Rahu natally. So this is quite a malefic combination. So this tells me they're really going to be stirring the pot. Yeah, that this is a witch's brew. Yeah, but they're also going to be trying to think of ways that they can expand. Yeah, you know, win. Obviously, both conventions, they're going to be discussing tactics of how to win. But this looks like a little bit of a witch's brew when I consider that the natal Saturn and Rahu are here with Uranus, Mars, and Jupiter all together. That's a very bombastic combination, very bombastic. That's Jupiter expands, Mars is the planet of war, Uranus is sudden shocks and surprises. What else is worth looking at? If we look here, Saturn will be in the natal 9th house. 9th house deals with philosophies and beliefs, but also what? The law, judges, lawyers. Yeah. 9th house is that literally people involved in the law, but also deals with travel and publishing and all of this kind of stuff. So maybe some in the GOP may even be writing some books. Yeah. This Saturn is with the natal Neptune and Venus. So again, this is quite interesting. And if we see here, the Neptune here is in Purva Bhadrapada, which means the front legs of the Fruin are all cocked. Yeah. And Saturn, the planet of accountability, will be at 25 degrees, grinding right over the top of this Neptune. He will cross over it this way and then will retrograde over the Neptune of the GOP. So they might have quite a twist of fate, particularly in things regards to karmas and ideologies, because it will be the 9th lord in the 9th house. Mind you, the 9th lord is considered a luckier planet, but this is Saturn. So there's going to be some kind of reality check when it comes to reality, to philosophies and beliefs. Yeah, for the GOP. What else is going on? If we look here, Rahu sits in the 4th house of homeland. That's not such a big deal here. The moon will be in the 5th house of creativity. Now, I think those are the main things that to discuss in terms of the GOP. All right, let's look at the Democrats. See what's going on with them. I hope you're finding this interesting, folks. I'm not having much time to look at the chat. Sorry, but otherwise, I won't get through all the material. I'll have a little look at the end, especially after this, we need to talk about Kate. Anyway, so here's the GOP. No, the Democrats. So I have them as the 8th of January, 1828. And again, I've chosen 12 noon for the reasons I explained before. They have an Aries rising, yeah, which can be very pioneering and stuff like that. But look at this. They've got K2 and they've got Chiron in the 1st house in the body. Now, I've mentioned this before, but this was a while ago now, so those of you who are newer to my channel may not have heard me say this before, but K2 is known as a mute planet. 1st house is the body, and this is one of the things why I said the Dems do have an issue in terms of speaking up and getting the message out there. I don't think that's too controversial to say. Many have been saying that, and as you know, famously Lena, who I collaborate with a lot, has been saying this a lot herself. And I find it very interesting because, as we know, Joe Biden is the current leader of the Democratic Party, and he suffers from stammer, not his fault. But if we think of RFK, he's got issues with his voice. Now you're thinking, oh God, why on earth have you mentioned him? But he was running, wasn't he, for the Democrats? And of course, the Kennedys have famously been Democrat. Isn't it interesting? He has issues with his voice. Yeah, can speak, but you know, it's just unusual. Yeah. So what this can show is, I think one of the challenges are, and I've said this before, this is about getting the message out. Isn't it interesting? Yeah. And very often, what is Biden criticized for? He is often criticized for his speech. It's not his fault that he's got a stammer, but, you know, or forgetting things or whatever. But do you know what I mean? Have you noticed this as a theme that they talk about a lot in the media? Yeah, it's often used as a stick. However, Ketu is a very spiritual, is the moksha karka, and it's in its own nakshatra here in Ashwini, which also deals with speed. So what this also shows as well, dynamic speech is also something that could be very, very helpful for them. It's all about getting the words right and in the right order. But you see here, look, there's the wound, chiron, yeah, wounds with the speech or with the presentation, how one comes across, because it's the first house. Let's see the transits, though. Let's see the transits, and so let's see what's going on. So here, the Jupiter, Venus, and Sun. Oh, wait, no. Remember, I've got to put in August 19th. So let's do August 19th for the Democrats to see where the planets are then. Almost gave them the same thingamajig. August 9, let's do here the 8. Did I get that right for? Did I get that right for the Republican convention? 1 second. They're July. Sorry, 1 minute. They're 15th of July. Let me just double check myself. Sorry. 15th of July, 2024. Calculate. Oh, I did get it right. Yes. Okay, I did. All right. Okay, so, oh, it's because, I know why. All right, because I changed charts. So let's do Democrats, 19th of August 2024. Calculate. All right, so let's see here. So the Democrats, look, they might have a boost here with their speech, yeah? Look, because Uranus, Jupiter, and Mars are all in the second house, which deals with money, speech, finances, values, education. So here it seems like Jupiter, because remember Jupiter will expand, will boost the speech. Mars is adding energy, but Uranus is unpredictable things, sudden shocks and surprises. Do you remember I said this is a little bit of a witch's brew? So what it means is here, this is what I would say, because of this general muteness that tends to afflict the Dems. What's going to save it, or what's going to help it, is dynamic, unusual, or unexpected speech. Yeah, dynamic, unusual, or unexpected speech is gonna be, but it's also showing the speech also has to be careful as well, because there might be things that might backfire if the wrong thing is said. Yeah, because there could be sudden shocks and surprises here. Remember as well, this also deals a lot with conflict as well. Mars is a conflicting planet. Uranus is sudden shocks and surprises. Jupiter expands those things. So speech and communication is critical. Yeah, absolutely critical. And things connected with war as well for the Dems, yeah, in terms of how they're coming across. But it's also an opportunity as well to what? Educate. They need to make their case as clearly as possible and overcome this sort of shyness, yeah. Ketu is very shy. If we look down here, we see, now look, they've got the sun in Leo, in sidereal Leo, yeah. Mercury and Venus together in the 5th house of creativity and giving consultation and advice to others. So because they're having their consultation a little bit later, the sun has had a chance to move. Yeah. So this is actually very fortunate. Whenever you see the sun in his own sign, the sun deals with leadership, the king. Yeah. All of this stuff. And also as well, if you look at the degree, the sun and Mercury will also be conjunct the star Regulus, Marga, yeah, which is the star of Regulus, which sits in Marga Nakshatra, and Venus will be there as well, adding a bit of smoothness. So this could be a good time to really launch new ideas. Remember, the 5th house is giving consultation and advice to others. It deals with children, and it also deals with luck. So, you know, the Dems could have a bit of luck here. I'm just saying what I see. As you can see, this is where the planets are on the no, it's 19th. Let me just make sure I'm getting this right. Jesus. Yes, 19th. There, look, I have put it in right. 19th. Yes. So this is where the planets are on the 19th. So that's going to boost their luck. If we look here, we have K2 over the moon. So that can be a tricky combination, but it can also increase intuition as well, because K2 is going to be at 13 degrees. Their natal moon is at 7 degrees, but look at the sign, it's in Virgo, which Virgo deals with health and healing, overcoming obstacles. So they might need to find ways to bring the country together to heal. That's something as well that they maybe should talk about as well. Not only the economy, but talk about how they can bring society together to heal based on the placement of their natal chart. If we look here, we've got a Mars, Jupiter, Rahu combination. That's very kind of bombastic in the 7th house, which also deals with open enemies. But there's no, you see, look, there's no transit that's actually affecting that. There's no casting a gaze, as it were. Let's see here, 6th house, 12th house. No, nothing there by transit. So that's not really worth talking about. If we look here, the Pluto, oh, look at this. Pluto is going to be retrograde at 6 degrees 3 minutes, exactly on top of natal Uranus. Oh, now look, I've just noticed that. That could be very unpredictable, guys. Very unpredictable. And the moon will also be going over very close the natal Venus. But that Pluto on the Uranus can mean intense transformation, sudden shocks and surprises. So there could be an unexpected transformation of some kind. Yeah. Maybe they come up with a radical idea, yeah, while the sun's here in the 5th house. But either way, there could be a sudden, unexpected transformation in regard to the Democratic Party. And if we look here, Saturn is in the 11th house, which deals with great gains. They certainly managed to raise more funds. Yeah, managed to raise more funds. Also as well, Saturn deals with the corporate world. And let's look here, their Pluto is in sidereal Pisces. So Rahu, look at that. Oh my gosh. Rahu is at 13 degrees 2 minutes by transit, and their natal Pluto is at 12 degrees 59 minutes. That's, I call, a perfection. There could be, this means some dramatic transformation. Yeah, look, transiting Pluto is right on top of natal Uranus, and transiting Rahu will be right on top of natal Pluto at the same time of the convention. I wasn't expecting to see that. And look, Chiron is here with Ceres. Ceres also deals with nurturing and stuff like that, but Ceres is the Roman name for the goddess Demeter, who is the mother of Persephone, who was abducted. Oh, so look, as you know, I just say what I see. There could be some kind of radical, transformative, unusual or unexpected transformation that may happen with the Democratic Party on or around their convention. Yeah, based on those transits which I've just seen. You can see the numbers for yourself. We'll leave it there. Could be a radical idea or something completely unexpected. All right, let's talk now. Let's minimize that down. And let's see here, what's everyone saying? Sorry, I missed a lot of the chat because I was doing that. Please leave the artists alone. Let's see here. So someone's saying on X, all the racists are coming out. Criticize the artwork if you must, but please leave the artists alone. I know those are there, those are on there that will do that, but Oh, that's a good point. It's got nothing to do with the artist's race. She's a black woman, by the way. I don't like the picture. You'll see, but it's not because of her race. Anyway, let's see. Someone says here, Chris Cantor says, yes, portraiture is a real skill, but actually I find landscape so much harder. That's just me. Anyway, right. Let's get on to how am I going to share that bit? I think I have to stop the share and then go back in again because I couldn't do the tab. So let's do, I think I'm going to go to half past, guys. And oh my God, there's 643 of you here. I hope you find this interesting. I know it's a bit longer, but I'm having to cover so much. Let's cover Kate and then I'll do the UK election. So it's going to be a long one, but I think it merits it on this occasion. Right, let's do present. Share screen. I hope you found the show interesting so far. Which one? Right, now that prepare yourselves. This is one I'm going to share. Let's see if it's going to do it. Do. See if I've got it right. I can't see the picture yet. Come on. All right. So here is the portrait. Here is, that's Kate. Yeah, Kate. Princess Catherine, but as you know, we call her Kate in the UK. This is the portrait. Some people said, I recognize the dress. Yeah. For me, I'm not a fan. Yeah, I really am not a fan. I don't know what happened. I think she had a bad day. Let's just put it that way. If I click on here, so I looked at, there was the BBC I looked at, but this is what this is what they said on the Mail Online. Quirky portrait of Kate Middleton on Tatler's July cover is branded as dreadful and nothing like the Princess of Wales by royal fans who say the artist should have gone to Specsavers. Yeah, that's where I got my glasses from. It's a slogan that we say over here when someone makes a snafu due to not being able to see properly. They say you should have gone to Specsavers. Yeah, if we go here, let's click on this one. I think, is this the BBC one? Give me a minute. It's just taking a little while to click over. Come on. Forgive me if it's taken a little while, folks. Come on, baby. This should be the BBC one. Oh, come on. Oh, bloody hell. You'd think my computer would be able to change easily between screens, wouldn't you? Oh, God. Has it gone weird? Oh, what have I done? Oh, what have I done? Can you still see me? Oh, I've got a blank screen now. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, can't believe this. Right, I've got a blank screen and I literally, it's just gone black. I don't know if you can still see me. Oh my God, what on earth has happened? Oh. Can you see me? Oh my God, what a bloody disaster. I don't know if you can still see what's going on. But anyway, let's just call it a day there. I think we have got to call it a day there. Let's do the election on the let's talk about the election on Saturday. But one thing I will say in closing, what this says to me is that it's like whatever the scenario is with Kate, she clearly can't come to the phone. Yeah, it seems that she can neither sit for a portrait nor stand for a portrait, and it just doesn't add up. And for me, that portrait, it really doesn't do her justice. So maybe let's just leave it there, because I don't know, that was what was going on. Let me just see if I can even get back to the StreamYard tab that I was on. And I think what I'll do is I will just leave it there, because my computer, yeah, it says here, gone Hogarth. I'm back. And I don't know what happened there. Yeah, and someone says solar flares could be both. Yeah, both my laptops a couple of weeks ago, then solar flares. Yeah, a lot of that stuff. So you know what? You're seeing me here. I'm going to end it here for now. I'm just going to take that as a message from Spirit to end. This is quite a long show anyway. We're going to have to do the UK elections on Saturday, for Hogarly on Saturday. Let's do it like that. You did get to see, obviously, the portraits before everything just went a bit weird. I will leave it there. Thank you so much for staying. Please don't forget, of course, to click like and subscribe, and the bell notification. And if you like the book, of course, it will be in the video description below. I hope I've put in there. I'm going to double check now, and I will leave it there. Thank you so much for all the comments. Thank you so much for joining me. And then, oh yeah, Jenny W said he spoke about Neptune. Now remember, whenever I speak about Neptune, we've seen what happens. Anyway, I'm leaving it there. Big love for now. Sorry about that glitch, but energy, folks, energy. Bye for now. And there was over 600 of you at one point, 640 something, blah blah blah. I'm leaving it there. Bye for now.